Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you've been buried in work or, just endlessly scrolling the daily news cycle, you might have actually missed something massive. The 2026 World Cup has officially kicked off. And if nobody told you, not your group chats, not the sports networks, not even that one coworker who suddenly speaks with a fake British accent, don't sweat it. Today, I'm going to catch you up on the massive global tournament that is currently taking over the planet, and we're going to do it without making you feel like you've fallen behind. Now, there's this really fascinating quirk about American sports culture, right? We have this habit of completely ignoring the absolute biggest sporting event on Earth, which is currently playing out right in our own backyard, by the way, until the US takes the field. We act like the whole thing doesn't even exist, and then the exact second our team steps on the grass, we act like we've been die-hard Life One fans. Meanwhile, dozens of other countries are bringing their absolute best to North America, and we're just busy? But hey, here's the secret. Missing a start? That's not a you problem. It's a soccer in America problem. It literally happens every 4 years. But this time is different, and you're definitely not too late. I'm going to give you the cheat codes to this entire tournament. My goal is to get you completely up to speed without making it feel like you missed a massive homework assignment. We're going to strip away all the jargon and get straight to the good stuff. Just think about the sheer scale of what we're dealing with here. This 2026 tournament is historically, literally massive. We're talking about 48 different nations. It features 64 matches stretched across 6 weeks. And for the first time ever, it's being hosted across 3 different countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. More games in more cities than any World Cup in history. The sheer logistics of it are absolutely mind-boggling. And honestly, that brilliantly illustrates what makes the opening stretch of this tournament so incredibly gripping. The group stage is designed to be what I like to call drama unfair. It's not corrupt, it's just completely chaotic by design. You aren't just watching to see who wins, you are watching a brutal survival test. Teams are out there playing totally exhausted and jet-lagged. It's this wild reality where a team can actually lose a crucial game and still advance, while another team can win and still get sent packing. It is an emotionally unstable pressure cooker. So, Section 1, Soccer Rules Simplified. And hey, absolutely no condescension allowed here. Let's break down the single most intimidating barrier for busy new fans, just so you don't get bullied at brunch by that one friend who owns 3 jerseys and has 0 humility. First up is the absolute classic, offsides. This rule usually breaks everyone's brain the first time they try to watch a match. When Americans say they don't get soccer, they usually mean they don't get offsides, and nobody has ever explained it to them clearly. Simply put, an attacking player has to have at least 2 defenders, which usually means the goalie and one other player, between them and the goal at the exact moment the ball is passed to them. The crucial point to remember here is you just cannot hang out behind enemy lines waiting for an easy shot like you're playing Fortnite. You can't cherry pick. You have to time your run perfectly to stay level with the last defender until your teammate actually kicks the ball. That's it. That's the whole rule. That is the source of so much screaming at the television. Right, moving on, let's talk about how time works. In American sports, you know the drill. The clock stops for literally everything. Timeouts, incomplete passes, commercial breaks. But in soccer, the clock never stops, ever. Instead, the referee keeps a running tally of all the delays, injuries, goal celebrations, substitutions, and then adds that time to the end of the 90 minutes. That's called stoppage time. So, when you look at the screen and think a game is over at the 90th minute, it is never actually over. That added time is pure, unfiltered chaos where absolutely anything can happen. And finally, we've got to address the elephant in the room, flobbing or diving. Okay, yes, it happens, and for sure it's annoying, but think about the physics for a second. If you are sprinting at full speed and a 190-pound defender clips your ankle, physics pretty much dictates you're going to hit the ground, and it's going to hurt. Soccer players aren't wearing pads. The sport isn't soft, it just acknowledges the reality of high-speed contact. All right, Section 2, why 2026 is different, extreme climates, and a true home field advantage. This specific tournament is completely unhinged. Why? Because the host cities are just spread out like a spilled map all across North America. Players aren't just battling each other out there, they're actively battling biology and some seriously extreme climates. Take Mexico City. The altitude is so intense, it makes elite world-class athletes look like they literally forgot how their legs work. Meanwhile, playing a match in Miami's heat and humidity turns a standard 90-minute game into a grueling survival documentary. When players look totally exhausted in the second half, it's not a lack of effort, it's just physics. Which brings us to this really profound realization about the whole tournament format. You see, the World Cup isn't actually about crowning the absolute best team in the world on paper. If it were, they'd just play a 50-game season. Instead, it's about finding out who the best team is on the day. It's about seeing who can actually perform under the crushing pressure of travel, deafening crowd noise, and an entire country staring at their very first touch of the ball. A powerhouse team can look unbeatable on Tuesday and be completely lost by Friday. That's a feature, not a bug. And, for Americans, this tournament means something totally unique. The US finally has scale. Hosting this gives a literal massive footprint to a whole generation of kids who grew up completely differently than their parents did. We're talking about a generation that grew up watching MLS, playing FIFA on their consoles, and streaming Champions League games at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. The US might not have the deeply rooted soccer culture of, say, Argentina, but what it does have is sheer, undeniable scale. Let's jump into Section 3, the storylines you should follow. Time to earn you some social capital. I'm going to give you a targeted action plan for what to actually watch right now. If you want to instantly look smart at parties, just follow these 4 archetypes. Number 1, the generational handoff. Watch for those old legends playing their final dance, while teenagers try to steal the spotlight. Number 2, host nation pressure. Watch Mexico, Canada, and the US deal with the massive weight of playing at home. Number 3, the upset pipeline, because there is always a small country that embarrasses a global superpower. Find them early. And number 4, manager meltdowns. Soccer coaches are highly theatrical. They're going to scream, gesture wildly, and look personally betrayed by every missed pass. It is incredible television. Here's the beautiful part. You don't have to be sitting in the stadium to feel the electric energy of this tournament. Honestly, you don't even need to watch every single game. You just need to take that list we just went over, pick one narrative, maybe it's the underdog in the upset pipeline or a legendary player's final run, and just commit to it. Care aggressively about it for 2 weeks. And that leads us to Section 4, why you absolutely must watch right now. Don't be a tourist. Let me explain exactly why waiting for those final rounds is just a massive mistake. The chaotic group stage, the games happening literally right now, is where the internet is made. It's where the viral memes are born, where the unbelievable upsets happen, and where you'll discover the names of players that you're going to pretend you always knew by the time the finals roll around. If you wait until the semifinals when there are only 4 teams left, you're not a fan, you're a tourist. And tourists miss all the good context. Plus, we really have to look at the reality of these players' timelines. Since this whole thing only happens every 4 years, soccer players essentially age in dog years. The gap between tournaments is huge when you're talking about an athlete's physical prime. A player who is a rising star in 2022 might be at their absolute unstoppable peak right now in 2026, but by 2030, they might be completely past their prime. If you miss a guy's peak right now, you will literally never get the specific, electric version of him back. But hey, here is the really great news. You're totally early enough to catch up on the plot. You haven't missed the train, and the best part, you don't have to figure it out alone. I'll be here with a new explainer to translate the jargon, decode the drama, and help you survive all that complicated math of the group stage. You just show up and watch, I'll handle all the explaining. So, what does this all mean? It means the World Cup might have started without you, but the absolute best, most chaotic, unforgettable parts, they haven't even happened yet. So jump into the chaos right now, embrace the drama, and ask yourself, which incredible World Cup story are you going to claim as your own? Pick your storyline, and I'll see you next time as we continue to break down the biggest event on Earth. I'm Sierra, your guide, and this is Mazaya Football. See you in the next video. If you can't wait, find me on my other socials.